When I told my friends that I'm quitting my job in New York and coming back to India, and that to a city like Indore, they thought I'm crazy. Even my parents were worried whether I'm making the right decision or not. Now, why did I come back to India? I've already talked about that in a previous video, and you guys sent me so many supportive comments that I'm truly grateful for it. Now that 2022 is ending and it's been 10 years since I came back to India, I thought it's a good time to reflect back and see what I have loved and what I have hated about being back. Now, if some of you guys are wondering about things like living abroad and then coming back to India, maybe this video will help you. Let's start with the not so good part. Now, I did not notice these things initially, but when I came back from US and saw these things, there are these four things that really frustrated me. First is money and success does not come easy in India. Now, the thing is, it's honestly much easier to become richer in US. I was already earning more than $100,000, and if I kept making right moves in my career, I guess I would have been close to a millionaire by now. Now in India, the salaries are low, but also the work culture is can be bad, right? And this is one of the reasons I never took up a job after coming back from India, because I did not want to work in one of those places. But it did mean that my bank balance took its own sweet time to grow, and it was frustrating at times. So with same skill set and talent, I do feel that you can professionally grow much faster in US, as long as of course you can find work visa and green cards to live there. Paperwork and lack of professionalism. Be it the traffic or customer service or your own CA, I feel like dealing with people is a lot harder in India. And I'm not even going to talk about the government offices where you need utter patience to get anything done. But the silver lining is things are improving. With UPI, cheap data, and government launching so many digital India initiatives, things are improving. For example, you can renew your passport much faster now. It's much harder to network in India. Now, when I was in New York, I attended so many startup events and I was really active in different circles, and I met so many interesting people just by cold emails. So when I came back to India, I really craved for those interesting conversations. But being in a tier 2 city like Indore, it was so much harder to find mentors or business collaborators. Everybody seemed a little suspicious, They will have their own agendas. They will look at you as if you're trying to steal something from them. And overall, it was a nightmare to make any sort of meaningful connections. And this is the time when I really questioned whether coming back was the right decision for me or not. But anyways, then I met at least some helpful people and started from there. And the fact that by now I've been able to have personal conversations with more than 40 super successful founders in India for my books goes on to show that yes, you can get things done, but oh my god, you need much thicker skin and utter patience in India for these things. Quality of life. Now, I did not notice it as much in my childhood, but once you have lived abroad and then you come back to India, you can see that stark contrast in the quality of life, right? Things like pollution, corruption, politics, flaws in the education system, lack of general safety, these things do bug you. But I guess when I look at the bigger picture and think about all those shooting incidents in the US or Trump asking his followers to act violently, I believe that each country comes with its own positive and negative points, and you have to choose one over the other. Now let's move to the good part, right? What have I loved about being back in India? And there are so many things, but the best I have to say is being closer to my family. I remember my father met with a big accident when I was in US, and I cried for days because I could not come back to see him right away. I feel like US is too far, 15 to 20-hour flights are not possible every time, and even if they are, it takes a toll on you, especially as you grow older. So what's the option? You can either ask your parents to move in with you there, or you can keep making those yearly trips as long as you can. But after coming back to India is when I've really appreciated all this time that I get. My father again had a heart surgery. last year, and I'm so grateful that I was there. I attend Raksha Bandhan with my siblings every year. I celebrate festivals. I see my families multiple times a year. I'm able to attend all those cousin weddings and important family functions. And I think overall that has contributed a lot to my general well-being and happiness, So I'm really grateful for that. Second is this terrible visa anxiety. And when I was on H1B visa, working in US is great. By the way, salaries are great, work culture is great. But there's all this limitations that come on you with the visa. Like being on H1B visa, I could not switch jobs as easily, or I could not try out some of the creative things I wanted to, or I could not do side hustles in US. NRIs are always worrying about losing their jobs because that means losing their right to stay in US. I know so many people who had to leave US when their H1Bs were not picked out. They either went to Canada or some other country or even moved back to India. So, as long as you can do that out of choice is fine. But if you have to do that because your visa got rejected, that really stings. As opposed to that, I have lived so freely in India. I have published 5 books, tried out multiple startup ideas, grew scholar strategies, and traveled and worked from so many different countries as digital nomad. I don't think I could have done all that if I was in US on a H1B visa. Then there's of course the question of cheaper healthcare. Now, I'm not even joking, but getting a doctor's appointment in US can take 3 to 4 weeks. You can either go to their emergency services or you can wait for weeks to consult a doctor for your pain. It was quite maddening, to be honest. So overall healthcare system in US always gets criticized. It's overtly expensive, and if you do not have a good insurance plan, you are really screwed. So there's always this anxiety. 20s is still fine, you're carefree, but as you grow older, or if family is visiting you or coming to live with you, you really have to think about the health insurance plans all the time, as opposed to same kind of services we take for granted in India. I know that getting a basic dental checkup in US comes out as expensive as taking a flight back to India, meeting a dentist here, and then flying back. And I think I got my wisdom tooth removed for just like $1,000 in India, right? So there's a stark difference in the healthcare system in both the countries, and I feel like quite relaxed about the healthcare back here in India. Now, I'm not saying that US healthcare is not of good quality. Of course, there's a reason why all celebrities go there to get their surgeries done and all, but for common public, it's a harrowing experience. Lastly, food. Who are we kidding? Indian food is the best, right? When I used to roam in Times Square and see those carts selling roasted nuts or pretzels, I would crave for like aloo tikki, vada pav, masala dosas, pani puris, and all those heavenly delicacies. So anyways, let me stop because it's already making me drool. But yes, Indian food is the best. So that's my summary of 10 years being back in India. It's really not about whether India is better or US is better. I feel like you have to compromise on some things no matter where you are. So make your priorities and be ready to pay a price for it. I know I have compromised on and sacrificed things to find my happiness and peace of mind here in India. Go find out what happiness means to you and how you can find it. Before I end this, wish you a very happy, prosperous, successful, peaceful, and again a very happy new year. Do leave in the comments what you think about today's video if you have questions or comments around it. And lastly, please stay subscribed because we have more content coming up. I will see you in a brand new year next time. Take care. Bye-bye.